Fourth down call there. How deep into the bag did you have to go to pull all those out, and were you surprised that you got all of them?
No, we had executed them in the course of the week in practice, and the players had confidence that we could execute, and we as coaches had confidence.
Coach, what kind of carryover from you get? I mean, I know you guys didn't win the game, but you played so well in that second half, the fourth downs you mentioned, Justin playing like he did. I mean, is there anticipation that you will carry over and you kind of grow from that second half?
Well, again, it's a process. It's a process of becoming champions, and every day, every week, we've improved. And we need to continue to improve. There's a lot of details and a lot of habits that we need to continue to work on that could have made the difference in that ball game. Again, obviously everyone's going to point to Alton Howard's final diving attempt for a touchdown, but there's a lot of times along the way that we could have won that game and didn't. So we are getting better, and we will continue to improve. And we've said that since day one that it's a process, and we're just embracing the process.
Was that the best you guys had functioned with as far as balance, running, passing, and keeping the defense on its toes? Do you think?
Sure.
Pretty obviously.
Yes.
And can you just talk about the offensive line, how they were able to get it done in the second half?
They did a good job in protection, but more than anything, we always talk about making conditioning a factor. That last drive was 16 plays. I don't know what the stats say, but we ran 16 plays and went 80 yards. And from a play calling standpoint, for me, when you have a drive that extends that long and you're developing confidence in your conditioning, that's when you can transition more into runs on maybe 3rd and 5 like we did and call those types of plays. But those guys demonstrated the ability to fight through any of the adversity and really handle the conditioning level that we needed.
And you mentioned the importance of all 11 hats being on the same page. The freshman wideouts of Marquez, big, obviously great touchdown catch. Jason Crew makes really big time 3rd down catches. Just what was their growth like coming out of that game?
Again, it's all part of the process, and the important thing is that we continue to build on it. We can't take one step forward and 2 steps back. We have to continue to progress each week, and maybe some of the things that we didn't execute, we need to execute. We were still only 7 of 17 on 3rd down, so there's definitely room for improvement in a lot of areas, and we'll just continue to get better.
Rajon, how much did he grow from the first spring practice to carry 28 times in that game?
Yes, the way he's finishing runs, understanding what we're trying to accomplish in the run game, we're very happy with the progress he's made since day one of spring, since day one of training camp, and obviously since game one. He's done a good job of getting north and south when there's nothing else to be had.
Mike, we talked to Justin yesterday, and we asked him kind of what was different in the second half, and he kind of went back to execution. Obviously, that's probably the biggest reason y'all had some more success in the second half. Is there, as a coach, is there a way to maybe bottle that and kind of take it forward for the rest of the year?
Just the guys understanding the details that are necessary for execution.
Where do you think they left that game confidence-wise, that they were able to move the ball in the second half?
Well, let's make no mistake about it. We were ultimately disappointed we didn't win the football game, and realize that there's a lot of things that we could have done. Simple things like blocking leverage on the perimeter and assignments. But I think one of the biggest differences in our ability to execute, especially in the second half, was very simply guys stepping up in critical situations. And in those 3rd and 4th down situations, making the plays when they were needed. And Marquez's catch in the end zone is a perfect example. 3rd and 10, the play kind of breaks down. Justin puts in a spot where only Marquez can get it, and he executes the catch.
It's been a couple weeks since Riley and Josh kind of started having to take more reps, I guess, after Nate's injury. How have they responded since that time and come along?
Constant improvement, mentally and physically, and they're coming along. I'm happy with their progress.
How much closer, or do you feel like they're where they need to be to if they were needed in a game to be there?
I felt they could be. They've been game ready for a while now. The question is, obviously, you don't know how well they'll execute in those pressure situations until they're put in those situations. But from a skill standpoint, from a knowledge standpoint, they have a firm grasp. Now, will it all trigger when the lights go on? That's the question.
Mike, is Justin's play kind of in the second half, is that kind of what you expected to get from him kind of the time full year? Just kind of some of the throws that he made and the way he kind of carried himself?
And again, while Justin's a lot of the focus, that catch by Marquez in the end zone was an unbelievable catch. Pig had a couple. Alton Howard had a couple of great catches. Justin's play definitely improved, but make no mistake about it. As one player's play improves, so does everyone else's, and it works both ways. As guys on the perimeter are making those difficult catches, as the offensive line is protecting for maybe a hair of a second longer, it results in the quarterback being able to find those open receivers and make those connections.
How proud were you of just the short yardage personnel? You bring in that package with Stockstill and Kirbyson that they executed every time. Just how proud you were of that group?
I don't know if proud's the right word. Obviously, we have high expectations, and we expected to execute in that, and frankly, would have been disappointed had we not. So, anytime you execute a play, it's the standard and the expectation.
Coach Pig, just how much has that slot position, I guess with him being out, with Dever being out, how much were you kind of hamstrung early on as opposed to now?
Well, I've always said that we're going to figure out who our playmakers are and find ways to get them involved. And Alton Howard is definitely one of the playmakers who we need to accentuate in this offense. And obviously, when he's not around, that's a big loss. So, sure, that hamstrings you a little bit, but other guys are stepping up. And again, I feel like everybody's improving and will continue to improve as we continue.
And how do you balance that with a kid? I mean, you go back and talk about fundamentals when he's just so obviously trying to make a play and loses the ball. I mean, has that been a teaching point this week with all the receivers?
With everybody. And we always talk about the details. We always talk about the fundamentals. We always talk about ball security. And boy, if I had a penny for every time we said don't reach the ball out, I'd be wealthy. But
is that your philosophy? Don't do that. Like the risk outweighs the reward on that move.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We've always thought carry the ball into the end zone. If you're diving. We talk about chaining the football and having the points of pressure on the football. No matter where you are on the field, no matter what the situation, we do not want to reach the ball out and have that type of security.
I know you guys